So usually when I'm this rattled and I'm this pissed off and I'm at this level of anger, I'll try and leave it an hour or so before I do my reaction to a game and do my match review to a game. But I'm going to do it because I just want to get it out of the way. But I'm going to say it now, and you did not misread the thumbnail to this video. That was our worst performance of the season. And you might think, oh Joel, but we just got battered 4-0 by Borough. In that first half against Borough, we were just as good as them. It was an even, entertaining game. We made chances. Second half, of course, we had the sending off at the end of the first half, which just completely, everything went tits up in the second half. But you can kind of understand why that would have happened. This was absolutely fucking abysmal. Abysmal from start to finish. So the game we started off, the formation was almost like a 4-2-4 at times. The shape was non-existent for a large part of the game. It looked like a 4-2-4 at first. You had, of course, Pato in goal. Across the back, you have Hume, Ballard, O'Nien and Huggins. And then in the middle, we had Ekwut, which was nice to see him back. Partnering him was Job. And then it was almost like a flat four at times because Jack Clark and Barr never got back. And Roberts on one side as well. You had him up there with Pritchard as well. But then, so we get into the game and immediately we sort of sit back. We allow them possession. We allow them to dominate. But they were just playing football in front of us. They didn't look threatening, like really whatsoever at all, really. But then whenever we got the ball, we were absolutely relentless in giving them back. And even when they were just doing a light press, the simple passes were just giving it straight to him. Or when the passes were on, we'd take an absolute fucking age to make a decision. So then we'd ping the ball up to Pritchard, who's 3'2". When they've got brick shithouses across their back line, we know that's not going to work. It was absolutely dreadful, and we did it all at a snail's pace, no tempo, no urgency. These lads, it was that bad. It looked as though we were playing a fucking friendly. That's how bad it was. No movement off the ball. You know, and what pissing me off is like you'd see the likes of Job, which, you know, he's obviously been our golden boy, as is the likes of Jack Clark. You know, but they're not. None of these players today or this evening, they're not immune from criticism. Because what was pissing me off is, like, you heard on the commentary, like Frankie Francis, you'd see it do a little spin on the ball, Job, then immediately pass it straight to a Stoke player, when I genuinely can't work out what he's trying to do, or who he's trying to give it to. Then Frankie Francis would be like, oh, that was a lovely spin on the ball from Job, and then just not to completely not acknowledge the fact that he's just passed it straight to a Stoke player immediately afterwards. Do as many flicks and tricks and kick-ups as you want, but if you're going to give it to the opposition, then I don't give a shit about you doing a nice little Cruyff turn 2 minutes before. Do you know what I mean? It was awful. There were just, no one was on the same wavelength. It's such a disjointed team thrown together there. Like I said, we tried to do these little 1-2s. We'd give the first one, and then we'd just flick it, and the other man wouldn't make the run for the second. Do you know what I mean? For the little triangle. It was never working. We'd pass the ball, no one would make the run, then we'd have to go backwards, then we'd drill it up forward for Pritchard. But like I said, it weren't like they were making it too hard, because as soon as we got into the final third and we actually bothered to move off the ball, they looked shit at the back. They didn't look particularly great, and we're threatening in every attack which we did bother to make. It resulted in a chance or a shot on goal. But we just did it so little that it just didn't matter. It didn't matter. So getting into their first goal, they put the ball forward, Ballard gets beat in the air with the flick on. There's a really good flick on. You'd argue that Ballard maybe should have done a bit better, but it was a great flick on to their striker. And Jesus Christ, it was a handball, a blatant handball. So it's been nodded onto him. It's literally going across his chest. Looks like he's tried to sort of chest it, but it's hit like there on his arm. It's gone like that to knock the ball forward, to put it in front of himself. It's a lovely finish, don't get me wrong. I won't take that away from him, but it's a blatant handball either way to make it 1-0 to Stoke. But then we actually bother to break forward, get forward, and I was actually pissed off originally with Job in the build-up to this, because he's done really well to break forward. On the counter-attack, it was 5-on-3, and I'm thinking, just give the ball. There's players queuing up at the back post, because like I say, when we did break forward and did bother to have a bit of urgency and tempo, they just fell to pieces at the back. They were all over the place. There were players queuing up at the back post, totally free, but either way, Job does well in the end. He drills it across goal, keeper makes a save, parries it straight into the path of Jack Clark to make it 1-1. So I'm thinking, right, that's it, guys. Okay, we've made up for the slow start. Let's go now. Literally 30 minutes passed with no shots, We sat back and did absolutely nothing. We did not threaten whatsoever for the remainder of the half, did absolutely fuck all. Literally, we were incapable of stringing more than 2 passes together at a time. It was so bad. It was so bad. And there were times where we'd get it up at the back, Pato would roll out to 09 or to Ballard. It was 09 a lot that was frustrating me with this. He'd give him the ball and he would be so hell-bent on sideways passing. If I was just screaming, I was screaming, look forward, move into the space. They were giving us acres of space. I thought, just move into it, ask questions of them, and he's just staring sideways, where there's a huge cluster and group of Sunderland and Stoke players marking each other out, and he's so badly just wants to ping it sideways into these cluster of players when he has so much space to move in front of it himself. It's so simple, such simple football that he would usually do, but we're making it look so hard for ourselves. And I don't know where the fuck this performance has come from. It was absolutely shocking. I get it, we've come off from a beating of Borough, that big beating, which I know is going to knock the confidence off a few lads, but then we've had the international break. I thought they'd come out sharp, raring to go. Everyone is walking around the pitch, and it was horrible. Absolutely fucking horrible. Then we go into the second half, and I was thinking at half time, because it was that poor, and we were that toothless and shit. We had 3 strikers on the bench, 0 strikers on the pitch, so I thought, right, okay, second half, at least make 1 or 2 changes, Tony. He doesn't. So immediately they break forward, get themselves a corner. Corner's put in. Ekwa does not chase his man at all. In fact, he grabs hold of his man, doesn't go for the ball or the man either, just watches it, lets him slide past him, and he gets a free header. It's a good header to make it 2-1 to Stoke. So immediately, within seconds of the second half starting, it's 2-1. And then for the next 20 plus minutes, we're still following the same system of what I just explained the first half. Not threatening at all, utter shit, not threatening. The same abysmal performance that we saw in the first half, and still no change. Then eventually, thank God, Tony realises that we're not playing pretty fucking well. So he brings on a load of changes, brings on all the strikers, and we throw the kitchen sink at it. And towards the end of the game, it's just clutching at straws at this point. But we just looked so bad, so disjointed. I had no idea what we're seeing there. Like I said, to be fair to those Stoke players, like I said, when we break forward, they didn't look great. They didn't look particularly fantastic. We had a great chance when Dak come on straight away, whips a free kick in. Ballard, he heads it against the post. There's other chances as well. And in that first half, there was actually a really good chance. The one chance we didn't create ourselves. Stoke actually made it for us. They tried to clear it away. And I think it was Johnson. He took a heavy touch that put it straight back into his own box. One-on-one with the keeper, slips it past him. And it went just wide. But they basically created that chance for us. But then we did just start to pile of pressure on him. We're putting balls in the box. But there's only so far you can go with that. A few chances from distance. Al-Shish came on. He had a good chance with the header over the bar. So the final 20 minutes we bothered to actually give a shit. But we just looked poor. Absolutely poor. I think we definitely missed Dan Neil there in the middle to get control of the game. Because just on the ball, we were so bad. There's been games where I feel like we've tried to create and we just couldn't get the chances. But today, it was just even the build-up play wasn't there, which is something we generally pride ourselves in. There's been games in the past where we've had 8% possession and just didn't create chances. Today, we didn't get possession all the chances, apart from the back end of the game. As I say, we just could not string a pass together. No one was on the same wavelength. There was no urgency. In Stoke, again, in fairness to them, they had that physicality and that bit of, second balls. The amount of times I saw those lads pull out of challenges that were literally just 50-50s, or they just couldn't be arsed. The amount of times there were the loose balls and players are looking at each other like, are you going to go for it then? And then they would just walk away or lightly jog when you've got fucking Stoke players that are bombing to get to the ball. It was a piss take. It was embarrassing. And you might think this is an overreaction, and it might well be to an extent, but I've just never, particularly this season, I've never seen such a lacklustre, can't be arsed performance from a Sunderland side. And those players need to be made fucking responsible for it. Because that was that bad. It really was that bad. But I'm going to leave it there because I'm going to be just shouting and swearing aimlessly. But hopefully we can just throw this one in the bin. And I said that about the last game. We made a great start to the season. I would prefer, if we did, even if we don't, we're going to get games where we can't keep possession. We have to sit well with to defend. But then when we do get the chance on the break, we need to be there. We need to have an idea. And we look like we had no plan B at all. And that's what worries me. And then we wait until the 65th minute to throw in all our strikers, see what happens then. Because that was a mess of a performance, an absolute mess. So, and now it doesn't get any easier. We've got Leicester next midweek. And it's going to be a hell of it. If we play anything like we did today against Leicester, against a better side, which obviously Leicester are than Stoke, we're going to get absolutely rolled over. Rolled over because we're weak as piss and the quality wasn't there. So we really need to change our attitudes, a lot of them. You know, and the thing is, when we have lost games in the past, I can't question the lads' attitudes or their want or their will and their desire. But that just wasn't there at all. It was a bunch of pussies out there, half of them. I'm telling you, the amount of times I've seen them duck out of challenges. And that is my worst thing. That is my worst thing. I hate it when you see a clear 50-50 or a loose ball and no one has the balls, the bollocks to get their foot on the ball. And none of them did. None of them did. But that's it, guys. Do you agree? You might say I'm overreacting. I don't think I am, personally. If I'm just looking at that as an isolated performance, it was utter shit. Take care. Have a good one. See you in a bit.